You can't learn how to read people or be influential without knowing how to read faces. Watch the emotions flash across Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg's face during a Senate hearing on election interference. Knowing how to decode emotions is one of the best ways to increase your influence. When you can learn to read faces, it's like seeing the world in high definition. Researchers have identified 7 microexpressions. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions we make in less than a second. We make them when we feel an intense emotion. What's amazing about these facial expressions is that they're universal. Across cultures, we make these faces when we feel these emotions, which means we have a universal language of decoding. The 7 microexpressions are anger, contempt, disgust, happiness, fear, surprise, and sadness. Beware, once you learn these 7 microexpressions, you're gonna start seeing them everywhere. So be sure to watch this lesson with your best friend or partner so they can spot with you. Anyone can learn to read facial expressions. Let's play a little game. Take a look at this picture. What emotion do you see? Now, most people guess this is sarcastic or bored, but it couldn't be further from boredom or sarcasm. It's actually contempt. You see how she's making a one-sided smile or smirk? That's how you spot it. Contempt is a microexpression, or facial expression, as we'll talk about, of scorn, disdain, pessimism, and it is incredibly negative. When you're a professional who can spot a hidden emotion and address it, you become unstoppable. You're able to predict someone's emotions and needs and then address them before they become problems. I think that facial expressions are the key to preventing miscommunication and conflict. I have an affliction, which is that I misinterpret neutral faces as negative. So I used to come home from a meeting or party and I'd say to my husband, "Everyone hates me." And he'd be like, "What? I didn't see that at all," because I was misinterpreting neutral faces. Once I learned microexpressions, it allowed me to see when I was actually making people angry. But most of the time, I realized I was just misinterpreting. My negativity bias was so strong that I was seeing negativity where it wasn't actually existing. Reading microexpressions also makes you more confident because you're more accurate. You don't have to second guess. Did I see that emotion? Is she really happy for me? You're able to know exactly what emotion is being sent to you, which is a backdoor into purposeful interactions. Let me teach you all 7 microexpressions. Let's start with anger. The classic hallmark of anger are the 2 vertical lines that appear in the forehead. When you see those 2 vertical lines appear, you almost always know that someone's anger, defensiveness, or offensiveness have just been triggered. Other characteristics of this expression are a hardened lower lid and oftentimes tension around the lips. Someone can press their lips together into a hard line or even open their lips tense as if they're about to yell at someone. So you're looking for tension. Tension in the eyebrows, tension in the lids, tension in the lips. Next microexpression, contempt. It's an expression that I often see in LinkedIn profiles or dating pictures, as if people are trying to look casual and cool. But actually, it is a sign of negativity. Contempt, scorn, disdain, pessimism, hatred. There's an element of better than with contempt. Try to make a little one-sided smirk. You'll begin to feel kind of smug, kind of better than. No, don't do it for too long. Stop doing it, because it actually triggers this feeling of better than. What Dr. John Gottman found, he's a marriage and family counselor in Seattle, he researched married couples and he found that the greatest predictor of divorce was the contempt microexpression. If one member of the couple showed the contempt microexpression towards the other, with 93.6% accuracy, they get divorced in 30 years. That is because contempt is the only expression that doesn't go away. It turns into disrespect. It turns into hatred. This is why at the end of a bad marriage, you see 2 people who can't even speak to each other. You need to watch out for contempt. If you see someone give you the, one-sided mouth raise, immediately go into seeking mode. What was said? What caused it? What happened? What can I do about it? Whenever I see contempt, especially in a presentation or a negotiation, I stop and say, does this all make sense? Any questions I can answer here? How are you feeling about this? That check-in is often enough to dispel the contempt. The other person feels, wow, she actually noticed I was feeling confused about something and she addressed it. Take a look at this picture. What behavior do you see? What emotion do you think is being expressed? Does it look like someone is smelling something really yucky? This is the microexpression of disgust. It's actually a very hard one to fake. You can try it with me. You can crinkle your nose up and flash the upper whites of your teeth at me. The reason we do this expression, by the way, is because when we smell something bad, we try to inhibit our olfactory response. We don't want to smell it. The funny thing about disgust is we actually see it even in professional settings. If you ask someone a preference-based question, like, do you like the new girl? And they go, yeah, she's good. You just saw their actual preference in action. Take a look at these two pictures. Which is the real smile and which is the fake smile? If you said Ariana, you are correct. That's a real smile. This is really important. Dr. Barbara Wild found that we catch real happiness, whereas fake happiness is not contagious at all. She actually showed participants pictures of people making a real, genuine smile. It's also called Duchenne smile. It reaches all the way up into our upper cheek muscles. And a fake smile, when that smile is just over the bottom half of the face. She found that when participants saw the real happiness, they caught the mood. They actually had improved mood ratings on their mood test. When people saw the fake expression, they had no mood change at all. This means that when you are happy, show it, but don't fake it. I would rather you have a neutral expression than a fake happiness. And go check your profile pictures. Make sure that happiness is reaching all the way up into these upper cheek muscles. That actually is the only indicator of a true smile. A really important microexpression to be able to spot is fear. Fear is a universal expression that someone makes when they feel anxious or unsettled or afraid, and it is marked by the upper whites of someone's eyes. When someone widens their lids so you see the whites above their pupil, you know you probably activated some kind of anxiety or discomfort. You want to immediately pause and address it. So other than the whites of someone's eyes, you might also see someone pulling back their lips and taking a deep breath. This is a universal response. If you see something that makes you afraid, what do? You open your mouth to take in air in case you have to yell for help or take in oxygen to run. We also widen our eyes to take in as much of our environment as possible. Is there an escape route? Are there more threats? In this way, our expressions keep us safe. So if you make this face, this is actually the safest face I could possibly make in a very nerve-wracking environment. My eyes are wide so I can take in more of my peripheral vision. My mouth is open in case I have to yell for help or take in oxygen. This is why it's so critical to address these emotions, is because you just tapped into a very deep emotion. And if you can address it, you immediately dispel someone's fear. Fear is most often confused with surprise. Surprise is a very similar microexpression, but it's different in one main way, and it's the eyebrows. Fear typically has flat eyebrows across the forehead. The eyebrows create almost a line, whereas surprise is the longest of the microexpressions, where we open our mouth, we widen our eyes, and our eyebrows shoot up. If you look at these side by side, in fear, you see the whites of someone's eyes, but in surprise, the face is longer and broader and the eyebrows go farther up the forehead. The easiest way to notice is fear is a line across the forehead and surprise are upside down U eyebrows where they go up as high as possible. Sadness is the hardest microexpression to fake. So when you see it, you almost always know it's real. Sadness is marked by a frowny face. Those emojis are actually pretty accurate. Sadness is also marked by the pinching of the eyebrows and the drooping of the lids. You know that you've made this face right if you tear up. It's literally the microexpression before crying. I think that learning how to read faces is like having a superpower. Most people think that it's a superpower to be unreadable, but a still face or a muted face is actually a cue in itself. Here is an amazing video of the still face experiment in action. You'll notice you have a baby and their mother having sort of a little mom-baby discussion back and forth. The mom makes a face, the baby makes a face, the baby points, the mom looks. And then the mom is instructed to not make any facial expressions at all. And she completely controls her face to a still face. You'll notice that even though she's making eye contact with the baby immediately notices it and begins to feel distress. She loses her posture, she begins to cry, she even makes a shrieking noise because she notices even though her mom is here, she's not present, she's not engaged. Babies who have mothers with a still face, with no expressions, actually begin to feel agitated. They feel uncomfortable, they begin to cry. Adults are the same way. This is how people feel when you are with them and you're not giving them enough facial feedback. If we're with someone with a completely unreadable, stoic, still face, it makes us uncomfortable. So your facial expressions, your micro expressions, are not only important for decoding, they're also important for encoding. Encoding are the cues that you send. So I also want you to be thinking about what emotions are you sending to others with your facial expressions. Now that you learned how to spot these microexpressions, we have to talk about how you respond to them. Here's how you can respond to microexpressions when you see them. The easiest one to spot and respond to is happiness. If you see happiness, you want to capitalize it. I love that too. How great. I'm so happy you love this. I enjoy it as well. Capitalizing happiness is only going to build on it. The other emotions, the more negative emotions, disgust, sadness, fear, anger, and contempt, those are ones that you want to spot and address. And it sounds like this. How does this feel for you? Can we check in here? Let's pause and take a moment. Those kinds of phrases allow the other person to fill in the blank. Sometimes you might spot contempt, but not know the source of it. Where did it come from? Decoding emotions is all about getting to the truth. And the more you can give someone space to share their true negative feelings, the more honest they are with you. Here are some of the common examples that I see in professional settings. Money makes people uncomfortable. So you want to make sure if you are talking about budget or price or money, you are looking for fear, the whites of someone's eyelid. The moment you see it, this is when you want to take a moment and say, can I explain this price? Let's talk about where we got this budget. In fact, let's talk about the phases of how we pay this budget. The moment you address the fear, you're saying, I'm with you and I want to address all your hesitations. If you ignore the fear, you're going to get hesitations. You're going to not understand why someone is being difficult down the line. Another one I see a lot is confusion turned to anger. Humans do not like to be confused. So if you are talking about something complicated and someone shows anger at you, they pull their eyebrows down, they harden their lower lids, and they press their lower lips together, you might have actually made them confused. This is the perfect time to say, let me pause and explain this another way. Let's revisit this. Any questions here? That way, you're not taking the anger as anger at you, you're addressing the source of the anger and you're eliminating all the confusion. I want to make a note about contempt. If someone feels contemptuous of something, you can't always fix it. Like if you have a difficult colleague or a difficult project or a difficult client, you might not be able to get rid of the source of their contempt, but you can become an ally against it. So what you can say is, how are you feeling about the new project? The worst. And they have that one-sided mouth raise. And you say, oh, I know, it is so challenging, it is so difficult with this client. I'm here if you want to talk about it. Then you make yourself an ally against that contempt, which actually brings bonding. You can't always fix or change an emotion, but you can always address it. If you are with someone and you're not sure what emotion they're showing on their face, mirror it. Sometimes mirroring the emotion they make will actually show you the emotion that they're feeling. It is the fastest way to get empathy. The best way to activate your micro-expression reading ability is practice. I highly recommend picking up your favorite reality TV show, sitting with your partner or your best friend, and trying to decode expressions on people's faces. Or go to a restaurant and try to speed read people around you to see how their dates are going. My version of fantasy football is watching The Bachelor or Bachelorette and trying to pick which contestants will make it to the end. One great example is Emily Maynard's season, where she was terrified of Ari Lewandike's race car driving profession.
My background is in racing, so I didn't know if you knew that about me.
Her fiance had been a race car driver too and had died.
Like, are you okay with that?
When he said to her, I was a race car driver, you can see the fear, the sadness, and then the contempt on her face. I knew he wouldn't win. Decoding and spotting microexpressions is key to increasing your impact, your influence, and your empathy. It's a superpower at work and at home. Our voice